Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I am bringing you my TBR game rotating decks, where I have Uno cards help me pick my prompts to create part of my monthly TBR. So this is going to be February's round, and as I had mentioned before, we are no longer doing punishments for not completing the TBR that I had set in January. So with that being said, let me tell you how I did with the reads that I have chosen for January, and then we'll get to the gameplay for February, and then I will let you know about what I picked for those prompts and anything else I plan to read. So let's get into it. So in January, in no particular order, I picked buy a book new. So that just means I needed to buy something new and read it. And so for that one, I decided on Game Between the Suits Volume 2 by Mai Nishikata. I have read this one. And then I had Bought in 2017. So that is something from my Bought in 2017 shelf on Goodreads. And so I had picked Fruits Basket Volume 9 by Natsuki Takaya. I have not yet read this, but I am filming this on January 21st. So I do still have time to read this, and I don't foresee having an issue with that. So actually I do plan on starting this one tonight. So I do intend on having that done by the end of the month. And then I had a random number generator. So the random number generator brought me The Night Gardener by Jonathan Augier. I am currently listening to this on audiobook. I'm about 37% in. Don't know if I'm going to finish this one. It is not drawing me in. So we'll see how I do with that one for the rest of the month. But that is everything that I have picked as far as my January prompts go. So let me flip you over to February's round of rotating decks, and then I will be back with you afterwards to share with you what I have chosen for those prompts. Okay, so this is the setup for February's round of rotating decks. We are continuing to play with the Vintage Peanuts Uno deck, and this will be the last month that we play with this deck unless we get a wild mid-game. So yeah, as per usual, I have already shuffled the deck, but I will have my daughter come and cut the deck so that you know that I don't know what is on the top of this deck. Okay, so she has cut the deck. Let's hope she cut it in a good place. Let's get started. 3 pulls as per usual. Our first card is... that is a yellow 6 with my favorite character on it. And the prompt is Sookie Stackhouse. So that just means that I need to read the next book in the Sookie Stackhouse series. So I believe for me that is book number 2. Our next card is... that is a special wild. So that means we will be changing out the deck. But I can't remember what I'm supposed to do for this prompt. It's something beneficial though, because there's very few of these in the deck. So I'll need to go and get another deck and figure out what I'm supposed to do for this card, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back. So, the Red Baron, Special Wilds. That means that I get to read whatever I want, so that is awesome. But because it is a wild card, I do have to change out the deck. So as you can see, I have chosen the Super Mario Brothers deck. So I actually had a poll up for my last rotating decks game in the description box of that game, where you could vote on which deck I play with next, and nobody voted. So I got to choose the deck this time. If you would like to have your voice heard and let me know which deck I should play with the next time I get a wild card, definitely check out the link down in the description box below. And yeah, so I have already shuffled this deck. So I will go ahead and have my daughter cut the deck again. so that you know that I don't know what is on the top of this deck, and let's continue with our final prompt. Okay, and our final card is that is another wild card. This is actually another special wild. So that's good because I get to choose whatever I want for that card. But unfortunately, we're going to have to change the deck again for the next game, which we'll do for the next one. So like I said, I do have a link down in the description box below for you to vote on which deck I play with next. So definitely go check out that link and make your vote, and then whatever deck has the most votes, when I film the next round of rotating decks for March, that is the deck I will play with. So let me go and pull some books for these cards. I'm very happy with the selection, even though we did not get to play with the Super Mario's deck very long again. And I will be back with you in a bit to share with you what I've chosen. Okay, so that was quite an exciting game. Changed the deck twice. That hasn't happened in a while. And it seems that the Super Mario Brothers deck doesn't want to be played with. I actually started my game, like the very first game I played for my Rotating Decks TBR game, I had chosen the Super Mario deck. And if I am not mistaken, I only got one round out of that deck. Like, the first pull was a wild, so I had to change it out right away. And the same thing happened here. So I really want to play with the Super Mario deck, but it doesn't seem to want to be played with. But anyway, let's get into what I have picked for these prompts. So, first card I chose was a yellow 6, and that is my favorite, Schroeder. So for that card, I got Suki Stackhouse. So that just means that I need to continue with the Suki Stackhouse series. So I am on book number 2, which is Living Dead in Dallas. This is by Charlene Harris, book 2 in the Suki Stackhouse series, about a girl who has the ability to hear people's thoughts, and she meets a vampire. They embark on a relationship, and there's some mysterious things going on. I enjoyed book 1. I've actually watched the first season of True Blood, so it was stuff that I was familiar with, and I'm looking forward to continuing and seeing what happens in book number 2. So this is going to be what I read for that prompt. I'm actually also participating in the Aurelium year-long readathon. I hadn't mentioned that in my last TBR video because when I had filmed it and edited it and had already posted it, scheduled for upload, the announcement video for that readathon hadn't come out yet. And so I did participate in the month of January. I wasn't sure which route I was going because the prompts were to go to the left, which was to start a series, and then there was a prompt of going to the right, which is to complete a series, and I had actually done both of those this month. But after choosing all of these selections, I decided that I am going to go to the right, which is with the finish the series. And then I am doing building on the cover as my prompt. So you can see down at the bottom here, there are buildings. And so this will qualify for my February read for the Aurelium year-long readathon. So that's going to do nicely for that. Then I pulled the Red Baron, which is a special wild in the Uno deck. So special wilds are not in every Uno deck I have, but a majority of the ones that I do have special wilds. And the special wild is a card that allows you to do something special within the game. There are also not very many of these. There are only 2, I believe, in each deck. So the chances of getting this card is pretty slim. So I got this one, which basically meant I could read whatever I wanted for this card. So for that one, I decided to go with Blood Fever, which is the second book in the Fever series by Karen Marie Moning. I am doing a read-along of this series with my friend Janaea over at Live a Thousand Lives. We read the first book in January. I really enjoyed it. It was a reread for me, though, so from here on out, it's going to be all new material for me, and I'm really excited to see where this story goes. And this follows a young woman named Michaela, whose sister gets murdered while she's on a study abroad program in Ireland. And she ends up going to Ireland to try to figure out who killed her sister because the police officers have closed the case as a cold case as they have no leads. So she decides to take matters into her own hands, goes to Ireland, and then discovers that things that she didn't realize existed do actually exist. And there may be something about herself that she needs to learn as well. And so I thought book one was interesting. I'm looking forward to book two, and so that is what I'm going to be reading for that prompt. So the last prompt I pulled was another Special Wild. So this is after I had already changed the deck and shuffled it and had my daughter cut it, and I still ended up with this Special Wild. So having two Special Wilds from two different decks is pretty rare. I don't think that I would ever pull a Special Wild right off the bat for two decks, let alone one. So second Special Wild, which means we are switching out the deck for March. I'll get to that in a minute. So I could read something else that I just want to read. So for this one, I decided that I am going to continue with Bleach. So this is volume 12. My daughter and I had started to read a watch along of this series last year in 2022, and I have put this series on the back burner towards the end of the year. So I really want to get back into this series. We really enjoyed watching the 1,000-Year Blood War arc that was released last fall. And so I want to continue with my read-along of the series with my daughter and then continue watching the anime. And yes, really, really enjoy the series. It's about a guy named Ichigo Kurosaki who ends up becoming a substitute Soul Reaper when his family is in danger of being attacked by these supernatural type creatures called Hollows. And then he ends up going on a bunch of adventures. That's kind of what happens with him. And not only that, he meets other people that have abilities along the way. He makes a lot of friends. Some of his friends that he's had for a while end up having abilities as well. And it's just a really interesting series. So yes, really, really looking forward to this one. This character, though, is not my favorite. Yeah, he's just kind of strange and creepy, but yeah, I enjoy the series. I'm looking forward to reading more of it. I am quite enjoying the little notes from the mangaka and the sidebars as well. And there's little extras, story extras between the chapters and things that are really interesting to me. So yes, really looking forward to getting back into that series. Bleach is a series that I really want to finish by the end of 2023. I'm just going to put that out there right now. I really, really want to finish Bleach by the end of 2023. So you're probably going to see a lot more of Bleach on my channel this year. So that's everything that I plan to read for my prompts. Now, I do run a manga club. So I have the Monochrome Manga Club selections for the month of February here. So I will be reading these as well. The Monochrome Manga Club is an in-real-life manga club that I host at a local Barnes & Noble. We read 2 first-in-a-series selections every month, and then we are doing a series read of 2 series. So I do have a Discord open if you'd like to read these selections with us and then converse your thoughts with us after our manga club meeting. The threads will be open for discussion on the Discord the day after our meeting. So our meeting next month is going to be on the 16th of February. So the threads will open up on the 17th of February. Currently, there are about 3 months worth of threads already on the Discord. So if you would like to read or talk about any of the previous selections, you're welcome to do that on the Discord as well. But as far as the Manga Club selections for February goes, it is the month of love. And so we will be reading volume 1 of Sasaki and Miyano by Sho Haru Sono. This is published by Yen Press, rated teen. This is a contemporary boys love romance, so male romance. My daughter has been really interested in the series. There is an anime. I haven't seen the anime or read this volume yet, so I'm really looking forward to it. It's nice and short, and I think it's going to be really sweet, so looking forward to that one. That's our first in a series volume. And then we will also be reading volume 1 of Romantic Killer. This one is by Wataru Momose, published by Viz, rated teen. This is about a woman who gets transported by a magical creature to an altered reality bereft of her favorite things. So she enjoys video games and snacks and her beloved cat, but now she's stuck with hot guys instead. I thought that sounded funny. There is an anime of this on Netflix as well. I do intend on watching it because Hana Inatsuki voices one of the characters, and I've talked to you about him before. We do watch his YouTube channel where he plays horror games, and it's very, very entertaining. And so, yes, I do want to watch the anime of this as well, but I thought that reading this first would be a good idea, and so I'm looking forward to discussing this one with our members, and they actually recognized this one when I pulled it out, so I'm hoping that we're going to have some fun discussions on it. This one is full color, so that's really nice as well, so I'm looking forward to that. Then we will be continuing our series read of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba with volumes 15 and 16. This is by Koyoharu Gotoge, published by Viz, rated teen. We've been really enjoying this series. I watched the first season of the anime in January and quite enjoyed it. And so yes, I've been really enjoying this series much more than I thought I was going to. And I feel like the anime is just making it even more enjoyable for me with this series. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in these 2 volumes. The last volume that we read, volume 14, left off in the middle of a battle again. So I'm really looking forward to getting to these 2 volumes. And that's kind of the drawback of doing a read along with the series, because you can end in the middle of a battle and be unsatisfied. And that's kind of how I feel right now. So I'm looking forward to these 2 volumes. And then we are starting a brand new series read. So we finished Sailor Moon in the month of January. So we will be starting a new series, and per vote from my Manga Club members, we will be reading Erased by Kei Sanbei. So we will be reading the first omnibus in February. This is about a man who gets transported back in time 18 years to when his mother was still alive and the girl that he used to know had not yet been kidnapped and murdered. And so in order to get back to his present time, he needs to try to change the course of events. And so is that something that an 11-year-old is going to be able to do? Because I believe he's like 11 when he goes back into time. So I've been quite interested in this series for a while. I believe there's an anime and a live action drama that was available to watch on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. But I haven't watched them because I had always intended on reading the series. And so now we're actually doing that. And so I'm really excited to get into this. My copy is still on order. And so as soon as it comes in, I will have it. But I don't have it right now, hence the picture that you're seeing. So that, I believe, is everything that I have planned to read for February. I know last month I said I was intending on continuing with The Eye of the World. Truthfully, that book has not been calling my name. And so I haven't been wanting to go back to it. So I just haven't. So I don't think that I'm going to be keeping up with the read through on that. I am going to put it on my on hiatus list for right now, just because maybe when the second season of the TV show comes out, it might reignite my want to go back to read the books. But as of right now, I'm just not feeling that pull. And I've told you before that high fantasy really isn't something that I enjoy reading. I much enjoy watching high fantasy. I just cannot ever get into high fantasy as far as reading goes for the most part. And so I think that's probably why I'm not like itching to go back to that book. But I'm going to leave my bookmark in there. Like I said, it's going on my on hiatus shelf. I haven't fully DNF'd it yet. I'm just not in the mood to read it right now. So yeah, that's where we're going to be with that. So we'll see. Whatever else I pick up in February, I will let you know in my Desus 19 diaries, as always. And that will pretty much do it for my TBR game and what I plan to read for February. So let me know down in the comments below what you plan on reading in the month of February. Or if you have a TBR game, let me know down in the comments below as well, because I really enjoy watching everybody's TBR games. I find them so interesting, and I love seeing what you guys all pick. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me a, I don't know, heart, any color heart, emoji, blue is my favorite, down in the comments below. That would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.